on 2024 and we have to do 4.2. Now you will see 4.2 is totally a new question. Can you see it's a different guy? Timepiece manufacturers. It's a different business. So let's do this. They say the business manufactures watches and the year ends August. And can you see now, and this is another thing that they like to do now, is they want to change up the financial years, because we are so used to the financial years ending 28 February or 30 June. We're so used to those financial years that the moment they change up the financial year, we are all totally confused. But now remember, this financial year is different. Okay, always take a highlighter with you. Yes, you can't use it on your question answer paper, but you can on your question paper. And then the first thing you do is you highlight your financial year. So they say, comment on the level of production and break-even point. Now, can I tell you, this is how they mark this thing. If you comment saying the level of production increased or decreased from last year to this year, and the break-even increased or decreased from last year to this year, you can get max 2 marks. But you answered the question. No, you didn't. Because they actually want you to compare the two. So if you compare the two, you get 4 marks. Okay. You guys get it? So let's go do this. If I look, what happened? My blah, 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 where? Break-even point and units produced. Now what can you see there? They want to see if you know, if you produce and sell more than the break-even, it's a profit. If you produce and sell less than the break-even, it's a loss. They want to see that. So let's quickly look here. August 23. What's the difference? My break-even is 7983. But I only produced and sold 2910. So can you see I made a loss of how much? 5773 units. Can you see?
507.
Okay. Now let's look at this here. If I see now, can you see my break even is still high? My units produced is a little bit more. I'm still making a loss, but how much is the loss now? Okay, so can you see at this stage, this business isn't doing that well, but it's doing better. It's improving. Okay, are we fine? So how will I write this? I will say, even though, or although, what's the better word? Although the business makes a loss on 3228 units in 2024, it is still an improvement on the loss on 5073 units in 23. So that would be 2. That would be 2. Yes. Comment on the level of production and break-even point on 31st August 2024. If you wrote the number of units produced and sold increased from 29 to 36, the break-even decreased from 79 to 68, 2 more. With the break-even point, you always have to come to the conclusion of the one is bigger than the other. It's always break-even with production cost. Always. Production. It's always, 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 always. Right. Next one. Comment on the gross profit earned by the business and the price charged for the watches. In your opinion, explain if Jabu's customers found the 2024 price reasonable. Provide figures. Now let's quickly go look. Where's the gross profit? So here's the gross profit. Can you see the gross profit increased? Right. Did they tell you something about the markup increasing? No, I don't see anything like that. Oh, but can you see the sales price increased? Can you see? So, what are you going to say? And now, how many units were sold? Can you see also more units were sold? So I can also take that into consideration. So, even though the selling price increased, more units were sold and the gross profit. Can you see you need to link? Because it's 4 marks. So you will say the gross profit increased from, you don't have to say from, you can say 1,237,600. Even if the selling price increased to 1020. Also more units were sold, 3,640. There you've named everything you can name. Does that make sense? Okay. Identifying the 2 main costs that would have a positive effect on the selling price. In each case, provide a strategy that Jabu would have implemented. What is cost? So let's look. You will always work on cost per unit. Your fixed cost, can you see, stayed the same. Okay? But this is economics of scale. What do I mean? What does this mean? If I say economics of scale. Look at this. My fixed cost stayed the same, ne? But can you now see the units increased? So what's the fixed cost per unit going to happen to the fixed cost per unit? Okay, can you see the fixed cost in total stayed the same? So let's look. For 2023 it was 1820 and the units was 2910. So what was it per unit? $625. Or whatever, 42. Okay, now let's look at this year. The 1820 divided 3640. How much is it now? 500. So you can say this is economics of scale, because even though the fixed cost in total stayed the same, if I calculate it per unit, it decreased. Can you see the positive effect on the cost of production here? Can you guys see that? Okay. So in other words, what happened? Let's say I have, let's quickly think. Say my fixed cost is 10 Rand. Okay? That's fixed. Can it change? No. It can't. It can go up and down, but it can't be influenced by the units. Right. But now let's say I produced 5 units. Can you see now the price per unit is 2 Rand? No? But now let's say I get more productive, I get more machines. My fixed cost stays the same in this case, but now I produce 10 units. Can you see now my fixed cost is only 1 rand a unit? Does that make sense? So we call this effect economics of scale. And how they usually ask it is that the fixed cost is going to increase, say, to 12 rand. Then this is going to be 1 rand 20. So even though the fixed cost in total increased, the fixed cost per unit decreased because we produced more units. Okay, economics of scale. One year they asked it the other way around, where the fixed cost per unit increased, and they call it the diseconomics of scale. First time ever I heard of that. But in any case, you'll get it somewhere. Okay, but does it make sense to you? If I'm taking you out on a tour, ne? We're going on an outing, Matteo. We're going on an outing, right? And now I have to get a bus. We are 30 learners, right? The bus cost me 3,000 rand, ne? So if 30 learners go into the bus, how much is each one of you going to pay for the bus? Huh? 3,000 divided 30, it's going to be 100 rand. Okay? But now, that bus can take 60 learners. So what if I say, oh, you know what, let's invite the other class with. And let's say they are also 30. Now the bus is full capacity. Are you still going to pay 100 rand per person? No. Now you're going to pay 50 rand a person. Economics of scale. The more units, the less the fixed cost per unit. Okay. So that's one we could have seen. Let's look at the other costs. Direct material decreased. So you can do direct material cost per unit. Don't do direct variable cost. Don't do that. Never look at the total of the variable. Never. The only one where you look at the total is the fixed. Okay, you get what I'm saying? So I have to go look, because with every unit it's going to increase with 520. Okay. So can you see the direct material cost per unit decreased? What could have the direct labor increased? That's not good. Selling and distribution increased. So actually they wanted you with this one to use, this one. Okay. Because on that one you can comment easy. So you can either do the total fixed cost, or you can do the direct material cost. So if you did the total fixed cost, you can say the total fixed cost per unit decreased, economics of scale. And then you have to do that little calculation. Okay? If you did the direct material cost decreased to 450, what could he have implemented to suddenly have such a lower price for direct material? What's the easiest one? Change of supplier. Okay, now what if they say he did not change suppliers? What other reason can you give? No, we did not change. We did not change suppliers. Maybe transportation method changed. Maybe using a different transportation method.
Less wastage.
Less wastage. Oh, you were inside my brain. Well, less wastage. So in other words, I trained my workers. I trained my workers so they no longer break the watches and have to redo it. So it's costing me less. They use less material. Okay. Next one. Jabu wishes. Do you have this answer? Because this almost sounds like your name. So, Jabu wishes to increase his profit by 300,000. Now here, they want you to use the break-even point during the next financial year. Because remember, what did I say to you? When we do the t-shirt, right, it costs me, variable cost is 20 Rand a t-shirt. Fixed cost is 200 Rand. Selling price is 25 Rand. So if I do the break-even point, it's 200 over 25 less 20. Now that 25 less 20 gives me 5 Rand, and that 5 Rand is my contribution. So once I've covered the 200, I make a 5 Rand profit. So if I say 200 divided 5, it's going to give me 40 t-shirts. So if I produce 41 t-shirts, I make 5 Rand profit. You guys with me? Okay, so now what are they doing? They are throwing that one for me. They say, Jabu wishes to increase his profit by 300,000 during the next year while maintaining the costs, meaning his fixed cost and variable is going to stay the same. Calculate the price that he would have to charge his customers in order to produce 400 extra units. So what they are actually telling us is that 300,000 Rand. Oh my goodness. Now my brain is closed again. Let's quickly see. So I want 300,000. I know my selling price is X. My variable is 755. You see it? And they say I'm going to produce 400 extra units. Can you see what they're doing now? They're giving you, usually they give me this and I calculate this. You see what they did? I just hear a small Do you guys see what they did? Okay, so I have to solve X. Right? So I'm going to say X minus 755. It's going to cancel. I'm going to times that with X minus 755. So 300,000 is going to be equal to 400X less. What is 400 times 755? Okay, so I'm going to take the 400 over. Okay, if I take that over, it gives me what? Minus 2,000.
Plus.
No, if I take, plus 2,000 divided 400, so it gives me?
No, 602.
Is it like my brain has died? Let's quickly go. So that gives me 2,000. I need to divide by the 400.
And negative to the other side, what happens?
It becomes positive. So 300,000 plus, it's 602,000. I'm so glad you are here. So this gives me what? 1505. Thank goodness. I wish we could all work together in the exam. Now it looks like an arrow. My t-shirt is an arrow. Okay, is everybody happy what I did? This is maths like in crazy maths. Okay. And that's 2024 for you.